Hi, it's Tammy Burns, Integrated Body Coach, and welcome back once again to day 4 of week 2 of our 30-day Take Back Your Life program. Again, thank you for joining me. Thank you for sticking with me this far into the program as we talk about nutrition, how to feed these bodies and fuel these bodies to get the best results that we're looking for. So our topic today, we're going to dive in a little more deeply to just exactly what kinds of foods and we're putting into our bodies and how to put these foods into our bodies. So to begin, did you know that not all macros are created equal? When it comes to food, it is important to differentiate between nutrient-dense and nutrient-poor choices, okay? So while every gram of carbohydrate does equal 4 calories, some carbohydrate foods impact your body more positively than others. The same is true for fats and proteins. Today we're going to explore this a bit and set some guidelines for packing your meal plan with as many advantages as possible, as well as incorporating some strategies that ensure that you're eating satisfying food, thus placating your inner elephant. The strategy section is going to be filled with things that you should know about each food group and how to get to best add it into your program. So this is just going to be a fire hose of information. Fasten your seatbelts and let's go. So let's start by talking about protein. What is protein and what does it do for you? Okay, protein is used by the body for tissue and muscle repair. It's used for muscle growth and energy as a last resort. If you don't have another source of energy, your body will use your protein for energy. The most usable form of protein comes from animal products, but it can also be obtained from proper combinations of vegetables, nuts, grains, and legumes, or by supplemental protein powders. And there's a lot to that statement right there. So if you're a vegetarian or a vegan and you depend on fruits and vegetables for your protein sources, then you really do need to take a really close look at how the quality of the protein that you are getting. It can be done, but it just takes a little bit more effort. Whey protein, which is found in dairy products, milk primarily, is actually the most efficient muscle builder that you can consume. And it's a good source of post-workout protein as the body readily uses it to repair and build muscle. So whey protein, I understand, also can be damaged when it's heated up, so it's best not to put it in hot beverages or soups. Collagen protein is another type of protein that's great for skin, for joints and connective tissue, like tendons and ligaments, and it can be used in hot or cold foods. So when I'm making soup and stuff like that, I tend to put collagen in there, and then my shakes and stuff, I tend to use whey protein. Okay, fats are another macronutrient that we talk about, and fats also are not all created equal. Fats can be saturated or unsaturated. Unsaturated fats can be poly or monounsaturated fats. And those are things like olive oil and your vegetable oils and avocados, stuff like that. Saturated fats are those that are solid at room temperature. These are primarily animal fats and coconut oil. Dietary guidelines that you can go online and Google. The government has a whole list of dietary guidelines. Recommends that that less than 10% of your total calories should come from saturated fat sources. I know that there's a lot of debate on that, and so I'm not going to enter into the debate. I'm just going to say that's what the dietary guidelines recommend, is that less than 10% of your total calories come from unsaturated fat sources. If you consume more than that, there's a lot of other factors that you can adjust in your life to ensure that it's okay. Avoid trans fats. Okay, trans fats are not genetically modified, but they're scientifically modified fats. They have no place in the human body. They've been banned from cooking and food. These are very inflammatory and very carcinogenic. Companies are required to put trans fats on their labels, and they're actually not allowed to put those on the shelves in America today. So watch out for those. They still sneak in. Avoid those. Great sources of fats are walnuts, avocados, olive oil, not for cooking. Olive oil is not a good one to heat up, and coconut oil. Some fats, like olive oil, can be damaged when they're used for cooking at high temperatures, so be aware of that. You can look more into that. I'm not going to go into great detail on that, but just to bring your awareness to that. Coconut oil, including like MCT oil and caprylic acid, and walnut oil and avocado oil are all good for cooking at high temperatures. So experiment with some of those if you don't have them in your kitchen. And then, but along with that, just know that frying food in general damages the fats and reduces the nutritional value of the food. So it is really not a good idea to load your diet with fried foods. Those are just some little tips and trivia about fats. Next, we're going to talk about carbohydrates. And carbohydrates now, this is where we generally get most of our energy. Carbohydrates can be simple or they can be complex. Simple carbohydrates are sugars, white flour, white rice, white potatoes. They're called sugars on food labels. So simple carbohydrates can cause blood sugar swings, which can leave you feeling very lethargic and contribute to food cravings. One place where simple carbohydrates are really welcome is when you're being extremely physically active. For example, on a long hike or a long bicycle ride, or if you're running a marathon, you see people eating like these glucose gel pods, right? Because your body just wants that and it's just going to burn it right up and it's not even going to have time to spike your blood sugar. So that's a good time to eat those. But if you're just sitting at your desk, not a good time to break out the M&Ms because it's gonna mess with you. The dietary guidelines recommend that less than 10% of your total calories come from simple carbohydrates. So those are your added sugars, again, think Oreos, Twizzlers, soda, and white flour. Less than 10%. And complex carbohydrates are things like whole grains, vegetables, sweet potatoes, etc. Refining complex carbohydrates can make them simple. So if you take your carrots and cook them up and juice them, then they become very high glycemic, highly simple carbohydrates, and they will impact your blood sugar. So eating them in their most raw form or fresh, semi-crispy, steamed is going to protect that complex nature of your carbohydrates. Okay, so just some things to know about carbohydrates. Now, on our strategy section, we're going to just look at some general guidelines to consider as you try to lose weight and as you're putting together your awesome food plan puzzle. Okay, so here's some tips. Number one, when your body is working, and we talked about this just a minute ago, when your body is working, like cycling or running or hiking, it needs fuel. So simple carbohydrates are the best options for that. Let this be your cheat food opportunity, okay? Go on a hike so you can eat some M&Ms. If you want your sweet tarts, jump on your bicycle and go for a bike ride, and then you can have your sweet tarts. Your body wants it then. Don't go crazy, but you should consume 90 to 120 calories of simple carbohydrates every 30 minutes or so if you're doing vigorous exercise for 1 or 2 hours. That's just going to keep you from crashing, and it's going to also, your body's, when you're working like that, your body's going to continue to burn calories after you're done. So it's okay to fuel your body. You're going to feel better and you're going to perform better. And you're still not going to sabotage your weight loss. You can also eat healthy stuff too, right? So things like dates. Dates are fantastic. One of the best like hiking foods or endurance foods that you can eat because they're packed with fiber and they're good sugar, good natural source of sugar. Dried pineapple's another one. Or even just pack some cooked carrots or potatoes if you're looking for some healthier options. You can even salt those, put them in a baggie, and so you get some electrolytes and salt in with your carbohydrates. So that's the first one. Number two, if you're doing a longer activity like hiking or cycling for 2 or more hours, add some protein to those carbs, but limit the fat. Your body wants carbs and protein for immediate use. And fats tend to slow that process, and they're going to leave you with less energy. So if you want to feel good while you're out working out, hence your inner elephant doesn't get grumpy and refuse to go out next time you want to go, then keep it happy and do this. So, eat like 100 calories worth of protein like every 30 minutes to hour as well. Okay, number 3, if you're planning an evening out and you know that you're going to be eating more than usual, don't starve yourself that day, but do limit your calories and limit them in a strategic way again. Best options are lean protein and high fiber. Think salad with some chopped up chicken breast. This is going to keep you feeling satisfied and less likely to go overboard when you're out. Now, number 4, if alcohol is a part of your diet and lifestyle, then try to reduce the amount you drink while you're trying to lose weight, okay? Alcohol does 3 things. One, well, it probably does more than 3, but 3 we're going to address right now. One is it adds empty calories very quickly, just like Coca-Cola. If you drink a Coke, you're just adding empty calories really fast to your body. Okay, number 2, it's a toxin, so your liver must divert its energy from breaking down fat to processing the alcohol, and this will take priority and it will stall your weight loss efforts even when your calories are managed. Okay, so if you're managing your calories but you're drinking alcohol, you still may not lose weight because your liver is busy dealing with that. It can't deal with the fat. And number 3, alcohol lowers your inhibition and resolve, making it more likely that you will overindulge if you've been drinking. So alcohol, if you can limit it, it's a really good idea while you're trying to lose weight. And if you're not losing weight and that is part of your habit, just consider how that might be impacting your efforts. Okay, and then number 5, eat protein throughout the day. We've talked about this. When your body is receiving a steady supply of protein, you are more likely to maintain muscle mass and build muscle as needed. You're also going to have the tools and the resources. Your body's going to have the building blocks it needs to do all your repair. And so you're going to be less likely to get an injury, less likely to get sick, and you're just going to have a better working machine. Okay, and number 6, by incorporating some healthy fats and complex carbohydrates along with your protein in each meal, again, you do amazing things to satisfy your inner elephant. And our bodies are designed to eat food from all the food groups. We're just made that way. And we all, if you're like me, you want to cheat the system, you want a shortcut, you want the magic, tweak that's going to, take out all the fats or take out all the carbs or take out all the protein, take out all of something, just make it easy and help me get to my goal. It's not like that. Our bodies like all of it. And there's just something magical about eating a healthy, balanced meal or snack every 3 to 4 hours. It impacts your central nervous system, it improves your mood, and it brings much greater clarity and ability to focus throughout the day, in addition to supporting a healthier metabolism and body weight. So those are my strategic tips for the day, and I hope you found those useful, took notes. Journaling today. Very simple after all that. What are your biggest takeaways from today's material? Just write that in your journal while it's fresh in your mind. Go back and listen if you want. Excuse me. And resources. Below I have a link to a great website that has excellent guidelines and tips for healthy eating. And so check that out. And our challenge today is plan tomorrow's food today. All right. That's the end of our talk today, and hope you have an amazing afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time it is. And be sure to subscribe, like, and share with a friend, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.